Good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in. The one thing I want to talk about, I usually don't want to get into politics on my channel because so many people can get so many different opinions and they can get very hateful very quickly. The one thing I want to say, because I'm Iranian American, my husband is American. He was born in Kentucky and had been in the military. So I, and he's also on disability due to a car accident that he had while working. Uh, so he gets benefits, health benefits, not money, but from the VA, and he has had a bunch of surgeries and stuff. And I get disability due to health issues, and now he's on disability too because of the car accident. The issue is this: we came here legally in 1977, and from Iran. My mom and my sister and my grandparents. Uh, I fully understand, especially the southern states, like southern parts of Arizona and California and uh, Texas. I've seen from Texas, having driven through Texas, you can see, or even Arizona, you can drive on Highway 10, I believe, and from the highway you can see where the border is in Texas. In you know, from Mexico, you can see the border. So there's a lot of spaces when you drive either in Arizona or Texas. You can see the border very clearly, even going to California. And in Arizona and Texas, both it has become uh, very hostile because in Arizona people have left water bottles, and the uh, ICE agents. There's videos of them smashing the water bottles, and this has become the reason you have so many people come here illegally. Please know that they come here illegally because of the economy or whatever being so bad, but because also corporations, as long as corporations in this country can hire people for illegally and not have to pay workman's comp um, and everything, it saves them so much money. Because the reason, for example, Robert is on disability is because he worked for his aunt, and his she had workman's comp insurance, and he's a U.S. citizen, and uh, because it was a workman's comp, the insurance had to pay so much money for healthcare issues, which he has the legal right. But when you hire somebody who's here illegally, they can't go and file workman's comp claims because, first of all, when you go to the hospital these days, any hospital, I don't care who it is, any hospital, any ER you go to, the first thing they ask is for your driver's license. They ask for ID any hospital you go to. Even doctor's appointments that I go to now these days, they want your driver's license. The at Banner, the last doctor's appointment I had, they asked if I had been out of the country, if I worked since I'm dual citizen, if I had been in the. They ask a lot of weird personal questions now at some of the doctor's offices, and I didn't. This last time, I didn't answer any of them because they were very strange. They were asking if I was in the military before and all that stuff in other countries, and if I and some questions I understand. They ask like if you're safe and all that at home, how many people, but they ask like how many people live with you. They ask a lot of questions these days when you go to doctor's appointments and hospitals. They ask, uh, so for somebody who's not here legally, it's almost impossible for them to go. First of all, they don't have the money. If they don't have workman's comp and they're not working legally for a corporation, then let's say the company that makes chicken. They have a factory in Kentucky for a fact. I know, or they used to. And if you get those packaging stuff for chickens, it's very hazardous hazardous job. If you get injured at that job, you don't have workman's comp. You're not there legally. It's very hard to go to the hospital and say I got injured at my job that I'm not supposed to be working at legally, and I'm not a U.S. citizen or here legally visiting, uh, because they ask you a lot of personal questions. I know that for a fact because I get asked a lot of personal questions at a lot of doctors' offices, and so uh, that's one thing. Corporations are the ones who are profiting from illegal uh, migrants working for them because they don't have to pay taxes on them. They don't have to pay workman's comp on them. There's a lot of money, when as company hires somebody, they have to pay those insurances, especially if they're a meat packing company or something. Uh, because for one, a lot of immigrants, even if they would go to the hospital, they don't know all their rights. Workman's comp is very complicated. Uh, you know, I know for a fact because Robert has been getting this for a while. It's very hard to deal with them. It's very complicated. The rules are different than regular medical insurance. It's totally you. As an American, it's hard to deal with. Much less if you're an immigrant and your English isn't very good. It's extremely complicated to deal with. So if you're mad about U.S. immigration issues, the only thing you need to do is call your congressman and stuff and make it a penalty for these companies hiring uh, illegal immigrants. Because even let's say they get fined for having hired an illegal immigrant, the fine that they usually pay is less than what it would cost them for taxes and insurance. The amount of the insurance, if you don't know, is so expensive in the United States. If you've never tried to get business insurance, and I know this because of, and Robert's family's funeral home was in Kentucky in a small town. Trust me, business insurance is extremely expensive. And that company, his family's funeral home was had less than 10 employees. uh, when you have a company that has more than 100 or 1,000 employees, insurance and liability insurance is so much more expensive. Taxes on what you have to pay is so much more. Think about it. These companies don't have to pay no social security taxes. They don't have to pay nothing. So when next time you want to get mad at the corporations. Call your congressman and complain about these companies who hire, because I know for a fact Kentucky, uh, the chicken factory has been fined several times, but the fine is nothing. It's chump change to them. It's pennies on a dollar for them with the amount of money that they save on just insurance. Forget taxes, just on insurance. The amount of money that they save if they get fined per person. Let's say they have 100 illegal migrants working for them. First of all, they're not paying them what the minimum wage is. Whatever the minimum wage is, I guarantee they're paying less than that. They're paying on the wages and insurance. The fines are nothing. They're pennies on a dollar for them. If you and also uh, one of the caregivers that works for Robert, she she's here legally. She's trying to get her kids legally. For those of you who have never gotten U.S. citizenship or gone through the process of trying to get citizenship, when I did my own interview, they had like, I had a speeding ticket and stuff. They do a full, you have to go get fingerprinted and do a full background check and everything. If you have even speeding tickets, they have it on there and they ask you about it. Uh, so most people who are here whether legally or illegally, they don't want to do anything because you can lose or not get your legal citizenship. So for people who, whether they're here legally or illegally migrants, uh, even for me, I've had my U.S. citizenship for a long time, because I was not born a U.S. citizen. United States has the right, even though I've been a U.S. citizen for over 20 or 30 years now. U.S. always has the right to throw even somebody who is a U.S. citizen. Because we're not born here, they have the right to throw them out, regardless of whether they're here legally or not. Uh, for whatever reason, because after what happened in 9/11, the rules have changed. They have the full right. Uh, Even if they suspect, it doesn't mean you've been convicted of anything. They have the right to throw you out for any reason, even if they just suspect something. So nobody who's here uh, is going to want to do anything under any circumstance that's illegal, because you're going to, one, you can lose your citizenship or your green card. And for the caregiver who works for Robert, she is wanting to bring her kids here legally. She can't even, she's not going to do anything to even get a like a speeding ticket, uh, because it's going to hurt her when she tries to uh, apply for her kids green card. So please understand that most immigrants, if you look at the statistics for immigrants, they're the law-abiding people. I understand the ones who came here illegally, they broke the law by coming here illegally. But other than that, they're very law-abiding people, because they don't want to do anything under any circumstances to endanger them getting um, their uh, green card or citizenship revoked, which can happen very easily. And they also don't want to do anything that that's going to damage the future of them getting green cards for kids or anything like that. And so the amount of money that it costs to get here, and also understand it. We came here legally, but even legally back then, I think it was $3,000 or $4,000 for my mom and my sister to get tickets. It's very expensive to buy airline tickets from Iran to come all the way to US. It was over $1,000 per person even back then. Uh, and this was almost 50 years ago. Uh, and for the ones who come here illegally from Mexico, I think they have to pay at least $2,000 to $3,000 to those. Um, I don't know what they call them. The people who help them to come here illegally, they charge several $1,000s. So it's a very expensive thing to come to the United States, whether you come legally or illegally. The ones who come here illegally, they have to pay a lot of money to be able to come here, and they're not going to do anything to take a chance on losing, on having to be sent back to Mexico or whatever other country, because they're going to have to pay coyotes. They're called coyotes. To come here illegally, you have to pay coyotes to come here. It's that that's from what I understand, it's minimum $3,000 to $5,000. Nobody is going to want to pay that again to come back if you're trying to come here. Uh, that's a lot of money for Mexico and our southern countries. I understand sometimes bad people are uh, try to come, but I want to say 99% of the people who try to come, they want a better life, and I fully understand that they're taking away benefit. They can take away benefits in Arizona. I know uh, the southern cities that are near the border. It's very hard on the hospitals because when they go to the hospital gets overwhelmed. And again, I know this from because of having had surgeries, and Robert has been, because of his health issues, he's been to the ER at least. This is July. We're almost at the end of July. Robert has been to the ER at least 12 times this year. And he has full insurance. Uh, ER Mayo Hospital at with Robert having full insurance, or at least they get paid 20 grand. This is what they get paid. Forget each time Robert, and even if they don't do anything, just him walking in and saying, I want to be seen, I guarantee you, Mayo gets paid 20 grand from his insurance each time. Mind you, he's really disabled and he has had a lot of health issues. So for him to go to the ER, and he has several bunch of doctors, for him to go to the ER, it's an emergency. Uh, so can you imagine? Mayo has made, that means 250 grand this year, at least, minimum. That's if they don't do anything. And they get paid 20 grand, just him walking in before they even touched him. It's 20 grand. Uh, so that's $250,000 that they've gotten paid. Now, can you imagine if that was an illegal immigrant? Uh, that's not how much they charge at for a hospital like Mayo at the ER. What they charge is $30,000 to $50,000. Uh, what they get paid is minimum. Again, that's before they do anything. Is $20,000, and that's not just Mayo. That's any hospital in the United States. It doesn't matter what hospital you go to. The ER, before they do anything, 20 grand. So imagine if a lot of illegal immigrants go to the hospital. I know that hospital is at least 20 grand out. They're not getting paid. They're not getting reimbursed for that. That's money that that hospital is losing. And even though the hospital might make money from people like Robert, that's Mayo that's making that money. That's not the hospital in uh, uh, the cities that are near the border. They're not, you know, they have to have people who are insured, like Robert, that they can make that much money off of. Uh, for every illegal immigrant they get at any hospital, they're losing minimum $20,000. And because I mean, they charge extremely high prices, but they have to, because they're losing so much money on somebody who's not here legally, who doesn't have insurance. They're not going to get reimbursed by the state or the federal government from that money, and they're losing resources. That's why they got to charge everybody else who does have insurance so much money. This is something, again, goes back to corporations. If corporations weren't paying these illegal migrants so much less money, then people wouldn't be going there. The reason they're getting paid so little is because these corporations, they can't afford to, or they don't want to afford to, because they're any corporation, their number one job is to make money. They're not in it to worry about a U.S. immigration issue. Their number one job is to make money. So when you get mad at the immigration issue, please call your congressman or congresswoman, and your state officials to complain as to why these corporations, especially if they're heavy machinery companies, that make chicken, farming in Arizona, mostly all immigrants. All these big corporations, 90%, 95% of American farming is done by corporations now. It's not done by individual farmers. Most of them have illegal. If you go to any of these states who do big farming, corporate farming, none of them are uh, individual farmers. Most of them are corporations. You need to complain to your state people and federal people about these corporations making money off of and not paying the adequate taxes to fully fund the hospitals and stuff. That's hurting everybody. It's hurting not only people on disability, women who, one of the southern cities, the the hospital can't take any pregnancies, women because they're overwhelmed with illegal immigrants in Arizona. And so uh, this is a conversation that you have to understand. When you support these big corporations, you're supporting illegal immigration. And you have to vote adequately. The Democrats tried to pass immigration law this year. They were blocked because the other side presidential candidate told them, no, don't do it. It helps my campaign to have illegal immigrant issue as a talking point. So if you have a problem with your hospital bill being high, if you have a problem with your medical being high, if you have a problem with your benefits not being fully funded, like Social Security and stuff, think about it which side was trying to do the right thing and which side was saying don't pass any laws because it helps my campaign. Uh, this issue affects everybody. So just something to think about. And if you have any questions and comments, please leave them on there. And please like and subscribe uh, if you want to. Thank you. Have a blessed day, everybody, and much love. We have to be kind to each other and uh, understand that doing things out of hatred and because you hate the other side doesn't help you anything. As I always say, Iranians have a saying that it doesn't not it doesn't become your bread and water for you to become hateful. Uh, uh, hate Hating the other side, hating other people doesn't get you anything. And I'm I'm as someone who's disabled, as someone whose insurance pays for hospital bills, that it's outrageous to have to. Again, it doesn't come out of my pocket; it comes out of taxes and the our disability insurance and everything, our insurance. But that again comes out of our taxes, and I don't want to have to pay $20,000 just for walking into the ER and not having even done anything yet. And that's not. I'm not saying that's just Mayo. That's any hospital in the United States. It doesn't matter what state you're in. It doesn't matter what hospital. They all minimum charge that much. Uh, but we have to do things because we care and because we love each other and not out of hate. It doesn't make any sense. Uh, uh, you really have to do things out of love. And as a country, we have to come together. There's so much that United States can do. United States is one of the most powerful countries. Has a potential of, um, I always imagine as even as an Iranian, the Statue of Liberty. We're the beacon of hope. We are that country who is supposed to be the best country in the world. We need to behave as such. We need to behave that everybody in the world says, oh, wow, Americans are so awesome. They're the most uh, uh, awesome people in the world. Um, just something to think about. Please like and subscribe if you can. Thank you. Much love.